These are Polish homes damaged by Russian drones. In the early hours of this morning, this conflict crossed the Ukrainian border into Poland. At an emergency meeting, the Polish Prime Minister said his country was closer to large-scale military action than at any time since the Second World War.
Mamy do czynienia najprawdopodobniej z prowokacją na dużą skalę.
In all likelihood, we are facing large-scale provocation. Poland's airspace was violated last night by a large number of Russian drones. Those that could be a significant threat were shot down. The question is whether Russia deliberately sent their weapons into Poland or if it was a mistake. Irrelevant of the intention, though, the response was united. For the first time in this war, jets from NATO countries destroyed drones in Allied airspace.
Allies are resolved to defend every inch of Allied territory. We will closely monitor the situation along our eastern flank, our air defences continually at the ready.
This morning there happened to be a meeting of 5 European defence ministers to talk about support for Ukraine. Their discussions about peace all the more urgent with the military events overnight. Across London, Keir Starmer started Prime Minister's questions with a message for President Putin.
I've been in touch with the Polish Prime Minister this morning to make clear our support for Poland. We will stand firm in our support for Ukraine. With our partners and through our leadership of the coalition willing, we will continue to ramp up the pressure on Putin until there's a just and lasting peace.
But Poland has said clearly today it's looking for safety, not more words of solidarity. Ellie Pitt, ITV News.
What was Russia's intent? What might happen next? I'm joined by our international editor, Emma Murphy. What now?
Well, I think what we're looking at here is Russia really starting to push the boundaries. They're trying to test NATO's resolve. They're trying to see what the response will be. We've had some statements from Russia in the last few minutes on Telegram. They're saying that last night they carried out a major operation on land, sea and air, and that was to target production sites for Ukrainian weaponry. Now, they acknowledge that they did target a certain part of Lviv, which is just on the border with Poland, and say that some of those weapons went astray. But that doesn't fit with the different trajectory of the drones that crossed into Poland. It seems impossible to believe that this could be an accident. The German foreign minister has said that the trajectory they took, that the way that they flew, some being released from Belarus, just doesn't add up to this being just a simple, mistargeting. And one thing to remember is that Lviv is the last point, really, of Ukraine before the cross into Poland. And whenever we're there and you hear the sirens go off, you always know that there's a pretty good chance that this is going to be something that will have an impact, because the crossing over of the border is something that's been avoided pretty much on the whole. There have been a couple of incursions, but nothing major, certainly nothing on this scale. And I think this is now such a major moment for NATO to actually decide how strongly they want to stand up to President Putin, and whether or not they're going to allow this just to pass with a discussion of Article 4 and a sharing of information between all the NATO partners.